Let noble thoughts come to us from every direction. This profound Vedic philosophy inspires us today to welcome innovative ideas from across the globe, fostering collaboration, creativity, and sustainable progress. To invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati for wisdom and success, we shall now begin with the traditional lighting of the lamp. I request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward for the lamp lighting ceremony. With the auspicious commitment of this conference, it is my privilege to invite Professor Dr. Anjana Singh, Deputy Director of IITM College of Engineering, Bahadurgarh, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Anjana Singh is an accomplished academician and administrator with extensive experience of 18 years in both teaching and institutional leadership. She holds a degree of PhD in management and had played a pivotal role in fostering excellence in education, research, innovation at the IITM group of institutions. Ma'am, may I kindly request you to address the gathering.
A very warm welcome to all of you. Respected dignitaries on the dais, esteemed guests, distinguished delegates from India and abroad, faculty members, research scholars, industry experts, and my dear students. A very warm welcome to each one of you to the International Conference on Emerging Trends and Innovation in Engineering, Management and Technology 2026. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome such an august gathering of brilliant minds who have come together to share knowledge, ideas, and innovations that will shape the future of our world. We are living in an era where rapid technological advancements and interdisciplinary approaches are redefining the boundaries of engineering, management, and technology. Conferences like this serves as a vital platform for all of us for the new collaborations and new possibilities. We are truly privileged to have a galaxy of eminent dignitaries and distinguished speakers among us. I extend a heartfelt welcome to Professor Dr. Nasib Singh sir and Professor Dr. Yudhvir Singh sir, whose presence adds immense value to this conference. We are equally honored to host our esteemed keynote speakers, whose expertise and insight will greatly enrich the deliberations over the course of this conference. At IITM College of Engineering, Bahadurgarh, we are committed to fostering academic excellence, research innovation, and industry-oriented learning. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, keynote experts, and delegates who have taken out time to be the part of this international forum. Your presence truly enriches this conference and adds immense value to this purpose. I really appreciate the efforts of my organizing team. So let us utilize this platform to exchange ideas, build meaningful connections, and contribute towards a better and technological advanced future. Once again, I warmly welcome all of you and wish you a very productive and successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for such warm welcome. We now move to our next section of the inaugural session. It is my distinct privilege and honor to introduce and welcome Professor Dr. Nasib Singh Gill, Sir, Senior Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Application at Maharishi Dayal University, Rohtak. Professor Gill has been an integral part of the department since its inception in 1990 and was designated as Senior Professor in 2018. With over 36 years of distinguished experience in academia, research and administration, he has made exemplary contributions to the field of computer science. Over the course of his illustrious career, he has held several prestigious leadership positions, including serving as head of the department for 12 years. He has also served as director of the Center for Distance and Online Education from 2021 to 2025, director of the Digital Learning Center for 8 years, Director of the University Computer Center, Director of the Directorate of Distance Education and Director of Public Relations. Professor Gill completed his postdoctoral research at Brunel University, London and also holds a master's degree in business administration. He is a recipient of the esteemed Commonwealth Fellowship awarded by the Government of United Kingdom and was honored with the Best Paper Presentation Award at an international conference held in Atlanta, USA in 2023. He has further enriched his leadership acumen through advanced training at the University of Cambridge and IIT Kharagpur under a flagship program of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. An academician of global repute, Professor Gill has visited and engaged with leading international institutions including the Universities of Oxford, Cambridge, Princeton and Paris. He has successfully guided 13 PhD scholars and continues to mentor several more, contributing significantly to the academic and research ecosystem. His research interests span contemporary and impactful domains such as the Internet of Things, machine and deep learning, information network security, data mining and warehousing, and component-based systems. He has an outstanding publication record of over 436 research papers, including 254 in reputed national and international index journals, and he is the author of 5 widely acclaimed books on computer science. He also holds 5 granted patents along with 3 published patents. Professor Gill has played a pivotal role in advancing digital and pedagogical innovation through his contribution to 13 MOOCs developed under the Swayam and Arpit initiatives of the Government of India. He is widely recognized as a subject expert and assessor of premier national bodies including UPSC, UGC, AICTE, NAC and NBA, and is a fellow member of several esteemed professional organizations such as IITM, the Computer Society of India and the International Association of Engineers. Sir, we are deeply honored to have you with us. A visionary leader like you, we feel that it is our privilege to have you with us today. On behalf of IITM College of Engineering, I would like to request Dr. Anjana Singh to please come and give a green welcome to Professor Gill. Dr. Vandana, please come. May I now respectfully invite Dr. Nasib Singh sir to share his scholarly
अच्छा एग्जाम लेने के लिए सेंटर में आना पड़ेगा भाई ये जो नहीं शुरू चाहिए
Thank you, ma'am. for
तो लाइव है
introducing
रोड
us
तो ये
to
करनी है
Most honored, my friend, Professor Yudhvir Singh, the Speaker of the Day, the entire College Administration, present of the dais, including Rohtak, Dr. Vandana ma'am, Dr. Anjana ma'am, Dr. Sadia, Dr. Proceedings ma'am, other senior fellow colleagues, distinguished faculty members, and dear scholars and students, and also the Vice Chairman of Management, IITM College of Engineering. I am deeply honored to be part of this August gathering on this momentous occasion of inaugural session of this international conference on emerging brains and innovations in engineering, management and technology. To be very honest, to be part of such occasions is really an honor. As a student, as a teacher, as a researcher, how we may all contribute to the society and nation is our prime duty. I would also like to congratulate the entire organizing committee under the mentorship of the entire esteemed management and all the luminaries present here to conduct such a nice event that too with a multidisciplinary theme of the conference on engineering, management and technology. I normally share and open up with my discussion when such a multitude kind of conference is always conducted. Because since my friend Prof. Yudhvir is also here, it will be an opening of discussion, and I also need to justify the role as a speaker in the opening of this inaugural session. So I'll be fulfilling that pious duty too. Just to tell about the theme, it reminds me of one of the famous couplets of the Urdu Shair. That what is the extent I certainly must cover to enrich and to help our young budding faculty members and students. And what is the couplet? सकूने दिल से एहतमाम तो करूं, सकूने दिल से एहतमाम तो करूं, जरा नज़र से मेरे सलाम तो करूं, मुझे तो होश नहीं मशवरा दीजिए, ये फसाना कहाँ सुनूं कहाँ तो नाम करूं. As a student of technology and computer science, since I've been there in the university since the inception of the department, more than 36 and a half years. If I'm talking about how things have evolved in the last more than 30 decades, which we have witnessed as a teacher and a scholar, and what we have seen across the globe, because my university got enormous opportunities to be part of several delegations across the globe. And we enjoyed all the opportunities in learning things. I'm also just reminding you one of the couplets. गीता का चौथे अध्याय के अंदर श्लोक है, सर्वम कर्माखिलम पार्थ जनने परिसमाप्यते. भगवान श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को उपदेश दे रहे होते हैं, वो पार्थ the entire karmas culminates ultimately in ज्ञान कि जितने भी आप कर्म करते हो अंततः वो ज्ञान में तब्दील होते हैं. And of course, it also endorses the very important quotes of the great motivator and the former President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, who has beautifully correlated learning and knowledge. What he says? Learning leads to creativity. Creativity gives you opportunity to think. Thinking leads to knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. Whatever is going at our head, what is destined to happen, it exactly gets nurtured here at the head. Even if you are talking about even a small child since birth, how they are groomed, how they are trained, how they are skilled, I think that makes the way. Undoubtedly, as a part of Government of India, the flagship program of MHRD, leadership program for academicians program, I was also one of the fortunate participants to the University of Cambridge and IIT Kharagpur as a part of total 35 professors. And what is the very purpose of that leadership program? That how in India we must produce the education leaders who can really indeed nurture the education to that level so that the creativity and innovation ultimately takes the idea from the idea to product designing. And I think when we are just looking at our national education policy 2020, it also reiterates and reminds many of the flavors beautifully. As we are not talking about multidisciplinary subjects, we are talking about minor courses, major courses, discipline-specific courses, ability enhancement courses, value-added courses. What is the fun of putting in all these courses? I think if you are just looking and reading in between lines on the theme, that is emerging trends and innovations. Who is going to start innovation? Even if you are giving even a small child who is just crawling on the floor, giving him two things, one lock and another key. The child will try to put the key in that hole on the lock and will try to open. Has he been trained? No. Think of it. Everybody is blessed with all such kind of things. But are we really getting them a direction to progress and to move forward? That's very important. If I'm talking about like our sharing the landscape of higher education in India today, about 1113 universities, and even in a small state of Haryana, 54 universities, out of which 25 state government public universities. About 43.5 million students pursuing higher education. Even in Haryana, 9.63 lakh students pursuing higher education in these universities and colleges. And what is the total gross enrollment ratio of our country? No doubt, for the last 5 years, it is just going on increase. But still, the figure is not very appealing and good. We could reach up to what? 28.2% gross enrollment GR, gross enrollment ratio. And what is targeted as per MEP 2020 mandate is likely to reach 50% by 2035. Even students, maybe the many proud parents who would be willing to send their kids students to their sons, daughters, wards in South Asian universities. Look at the landscape. of higher education. Are we should not be worried that rather than, you can say, producing the degree holders, outcome-based education be focused? Out of the box thinking should be nurtured and should be encouraged. It is up to us, all of us teachers. Sometimes we as teachers, I admit from this podium, because we all are teachers. What we have seen in the past, but we should believe what exactly is required and needed today. Because every teacher cannot be master of all subjects. And for example, in a class, if some student is asking questions, believe me, trust me, more than 95% of questions are very usual questions. But there are extraordinary students sitting in the class who raise 5% of questions. And those questions, these are considered as the troublesome from teachers. What they say, such a foolish question. Let me tell you, that is not a foolish question. We need to train ourselves to respond to those questions which are having our hidden creativity and innovation to that. I am likely to quote here a very good example. I am just talking about maybe the year 2017. We were there at the AICT headquarters office. We were just designing the curriculum of our MCA. Guidelines we were preparing that. Professor B.D. Chaudhary, who was also a senior professor, even 10 years elder to me, who was heading MNIT Allahabad, Motilal Nehru Institute of Technology, he is Professor of Computer Science. And at just only 2-3 months apart, Facebook company had given a package to one of the MNIT students. It was 2.7 crore package. So during the discussion, because it tempted me to ask Professor B.D. Chaudhary what was so special in him, then he told Professor Gill, we will discuss during lunchtime. Then he told a very interesting story. That he was a student who was recommended by the Prof board for rustication. And when his file came to me as a director, now what was the background history? Background history was that boy had chopped all the computer labs. Even Linux labs were also chopped. Then when I called the student, I said, what made you do this? So to be very out of curiosity, I have been doing it. I have been working day and night, sir. And actually, I had no such bad intention. Give me half an hour, I'll put everything on track. And he set everything, all the labs, right. None of the faculty members, none of the network administrators, none of the system administrators, none of other one, they could set the labs right. I am not here encouraging the students to go for something unlawful. But here I am just trying to, that we need to promote and encourage that innovation and creativity that's going ahead. Let me also quote another beautiful example. You could be well aware of one of the names, Parno Mistry. Parno Mistry was a young boy. At the age of 36 years, he became Senior Vice President of Samsung Research Group at the age of 36 years. He came from a humble background from Gujarat. He was a student at Anand College of Engineering in Gujarat. Having pursued his bachelor's, he had a different kind of idea that he had. What he did. Today we are using the optical mouse, wireless mouse. At the time, those mouse which had a long lead that was plugged into, what he did? He opened up the mouse, he took the balls out, and he took the control of 2 mouses on the fingers. Samsung, that's a Galaxy Gear, the model. That is the brainchild of Parno Mistry product. And what we are right now zooming in and out, that movement, We say we easily, that's on the screen, we zoom in and out. This 6 sense technology was his brainchild. To his credit, there are 7 patents. Right now he is working with a startup. He rose to that level. But it did not happen overnight. But all his consistent efforts towards cultivating that innovative ideas ultimately led to reach to that level. It's not necessary that we all become even a serving personnel. We may become entrepreneurs. If you are talking about life till today, the world population goes to be 8.3 billion. And about 73% of the world population, they are using internet. Look at the penetration. What do you think? When Google came in 2004, when Facebook came again in the same 2004, now look at the innovation they have moved. And let me also quote that there may be fellow friends from electronics as well. If we are talking about our mobile, smartphone is one of the biggest innovations of 21st century. For the first time it came in 2008. But recall the mobile industry. I mean, be honest, has any of us is in our possession today any Nokia phone? No one. Had it been last, that is 14 to 16 years back, 80% plus people used to have the Nokia phone. Why Nokia is out? Think of it. It's only an innovation. If we don't align our products, the industry, in align with the innovation, we are likely to lose very badly. Today, as an student of Chandigarh, I also studied the subject artificial intelligence. If you are talking about that is your 38 to 40 years back, when as a student you have studied that subject, what you are seeing and now just looking at the subject, is it the same? No, massive change. No doubt. History, it is having a rich history. Nobody had believed when the John McCarthy gave the concept of the artificial intelligence around 1956, it is likely to go under a massive change by this time. And what made it to change? Only the data. Kalai Hambi made a statement 8 to 10 years back, data is a new oil. And another, Andrew Ng, who has greatly contributed to the Google brain in AI innovations, who said, if data is the new oil, artificial intelligence is new electricity. See, what we are doing today, when we are just looking at the total landscape of the different emerging technology trends, artificial intelligence is redefining each and everything from scratch. Like who had thought of OpenAI with a very initial, that's your Sam Altman, who had the idea with 3-4 fellow friends, who was also thrown in between by the OpenAI. But again he came back and he stood up. And now look at the fate. ChatGPT 6 also has come. Think of. It is not a generative AI tool now. We have moved even ahead. It is shifting from generative AI to multimodal AI, which is considering your video, audio, images too. and it is eating maximum of the creative jobs today. See, I am pretty aware when because I think none of our fellow friends, they could have used Pascal language or COBOL language or Fortran language. But we as students and even we as teachers for around from 1990 to 97-8, we have taught even these languages. How the languages evolved. We used to make use of the operating system which we used to call DOS, disk operating system. But since the first flavor from Windows came, Windows 3.1, that became a graphical user interface. And today, all kind of smart interfaces, they are speech enabled, they can welcome you in the morning, and they can do whatever you like. You just only speak on it, will do for you, including the Siri, Cortana, and all different tools you do have. There is massive change. We should believe on only one thing. What are the cutting edge technologies today? Maybe after 3 or 4 years, they will also become obsolete. What we need to do? National Science Day is celebrated in India on 28th of February. You know, for the last 3-4 years, what is the theme of those National Science Days? It is focused on what? Sustainable development. In which part? And this initial, this 2026, it was again what? Role of women in science. In which part? Sustainable development are what? Let me tell you, there are 2 kinds of technologies. One, disruptive technology. Another is sustainable technology. If you think disruptive technology are the one which completely disrupts things altogether, and sustainable technology are that when you are just, for example, cutting off trees, our environmental problems, your global warming, climate change. I think recall the time your floppies, CDs, that's your carbon germanium related chips. That's an e-waste and e-kachra. They're very hazardous, health hazardous. It should not cause. Sustainable means when we are moving up, it should also not affect our eco-friendly life. That's why we have to sustain. We are moving ahead. At the same time, whatever deficit it goes, it is also being compensated. That's very important. If I could share with you certain more statistics, you will be really amazed. Today, Government of India has come up in the Indian context I'm sharing. That is our national mission AI of India. Approximately 10,350 crore budget is earmarked for that. But there are no, regulation as by European and American government have framed. India is yet to frame. Right? But if somebody talks, what we are doing in the name of your cyber security? I think National Crime Record Bureau of Government of India Statistics website that reveals that at the cyber crime ladder as a country, we form about 3% of the cyber crimes of the total percentage. And on that ladder, we stand at number 11, keeping United States at the top. And you will be amazed, 1.5 trillion US dollars. That is the total damage and the revenue of the cybercrime. When you say artificial intelligence, who are the real contributors if you talk about? I think in 2024, Jeffrey Hinton who was a physicist, but ultimately what, who is also known as what? Godfather of artificial intelligence. He greatly contributed to deep neural networks. Who made a way to what? Who made a way to what? To your this generative AI. If today you just search, go for internet surfing, if you look, what are the top 10 most innovative tech companies who have greatly contributed? The early names which used to have, which had a monopoly for around 10 to 15 years together, they are nowhere in that race now. Had anybody believed NVIDIA will top on that ladder? When NVIDIA came, NVIDIA is producing those fastest GPU, which are required for what? Our all AI tools. Quantum processors, quantum machines. If you are talking about like OpenAI's your ChatGPT, Google have come up with Gemini, and I think just only 3 days before, Anthropic company, which has come up with its Claude. Claude was one of the tools, but again has some Claude Mythos. And that Mythos is amazing. Nowhere in comparison to other its parallel, including your Sora tool or Microsoft's Copilot tool or your Grok tool, much more. Because rather than going for our simply generative AI, now we are shifting to agentic AI. I'm just giving a good example of agentic AI. If, for example, you have to go to Bangalore for a week for some academic or research assignment, you are trying to move from airport tomorrow, and your weekday schedule you are planning. I think if you assign some task to secretary or to some of your other fellow friends, they will be serving different websites, book a ticket, hotel and all that. But scattered jobs. Agentic AI would require only what? Because when your data, your credit card, financial details, personal details, your KYC, all confirmation, everything is there, it will completely book the entire package. Cab from your home address to airport, from airport to Bangalore, from Bangalore to hotel, to your workplace, and even if you say, these are my foods of choices at these different timings, everything it will completely book, and only finally it will send you just as it happens. This is what agentic AI is capable of doing. I think prior 1998, there was no Ministry of IT, Ministry of Information Technology. Pramod Mahajan was the first Minister of Information Technology, Ministry of Information Technology in the regime of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. You see, IT at that point of time used to be as a catalyst. Now, IT has become a driving force. You know, that's your person who was just that president by United States. Anthropic Claude tool was used to locate his activity and to grab him. This is how your those AI tools, they are helping to that time. It's not your patenting missile they will be launching. Where it finds you have given the target, where the target is available, it would locate itself. Why agentic AI is what? Is an autonomous system. Let me give a very simple example. हम इंसान for example मैं यहाँ पे एक ऑल पेन से अपने पंच करता हूँ, blood will start coming out. If I just hold it for and stop it, blood will stop. It is our immunity of the body. I am talking about your machines today which are right now are being produced. They are autonomous. Time has gone. We used to talk about the robots. Today we are talking about cobots, C-O-B-O-T-S, collaborative robots. And we are talking about like your Elon Musk. You know, Elon Musk, I think around 6.5 months back, he had given the agenda that 10 billion humanoids his company will create. टोटल वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन 8.3 है। 10 मिलियन ह्यूमनॉइड्स क्रिएट करने का मतलब है आपके साथ काम करेंगे, आपको ये भी पता लगेगा कि आपका ह्यूमन बीइंग है, दे विल सेंस एवरीथिंग, ऑल इमोशंस। हम पहले कहते थे मशीन्स डोंट हैव इमोशन, मशीन आल्सो हैव इमोशन नाउ। दे वुड टेक सेल्फ डिसीजन मेकिंग। जरा समझिए, एक किसान और मैं आपको कर रहा हूं, ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए बहुत बड़ा खतरा हो सकता है। और मेरे ख्याल में जब ये कहते हैं हम कि एआई के जब तक रेगुलेशन अच्छे नहीं होंगे, एआई के रेगुलेशन के लिए आप हमें क्या काम कर सकते हैं, क्या क्या रेगुलेशन हो सकते हैं? आप मुझे बताओ, जो वायरसेस थे, एंटीवायरस सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं बना? नॉर्टन डिस्क डॉक्टर जो मेरे बहुत पुराने साथी हमारे टाइम पे होंगे, वो भी रिकॉल कर रहे होंगे, यस वो टूल्स थे। क्या आज के टाइम में सिर्फ साइबर क्राइम का चेहरा वैसा ही है? नहीं, ऑल टुगेदर चेंज्ड। किसने सोचा था कि डिजिटल अरेस्ट भी चीजें आएंगे, केवाईसी फ्रॉड भी आएगा, कैश ऑन डिलीवरी फ्रॉड भी आएगा, फिशिंग का तो चेहरा ही बदल जाएगा। जरा सोचिए आप, थिंग्स आर नॉट सो सिंपल। एआई ने जितनी मदद की है, एआई से उतना ही खतरा भी है। क्यों? एआई इज इंस्ट्रूमेंटल टू कर्ब द साइबर क्राइम्स, वेयरएवर सेम एआई इज इंस्ट्रूमेंटल इन कमिटिंग क्राइम। तो तू डाल तो मैं पाट यह देखना है। और ये ठीक कहा है, आप और हम सब एक ऐसे पढ़ते हुए पले बड़े हैं, विज्ञान बताने अब साइंस इज बोर्न ऑफ चेहरा कितना बदल गया है। माझी तेरी कश्ती के तलबदार बहुत हैं, कुछ इस पार और कुछ उस पार बहुत हैं। जिस शहर में खरीदी है तूने शीशे की दुकान, उस शहर में पत्थर के खरीदार बहुत हैं। वाह। मैं सिर्फ आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि आप और हम टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन के तरीके से, आप समझते हैं कि आपका जो हैकर्स होते हैं, हैकर्स आर आल्सो प्रोफेशनल्स। किसने कितना नया काम किया, आगे मान के चलिए किसी एक ने बहुत अच्छा नया काम किया। मैं एक छोटा सा उदाहरण भी बताना चाहता हूँ। When we were there at Cambridge University, तो कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी, हाँ मैं एक चीज और स्टैटिस्टिक्स आपको देना चाहता हूँ। हम कई बार ये मान के चलते हैं कि क्या इनोवेशन में बड़ा काम किया किसने। हम कई बार ये मापदंड मान के चलते हैं कि फाइन, नोबेल प्राइजेस एक बड़ा पैमाना हो सकता है, मान सकते हैं, पेटेंट्स भी बड़ा पैमाना हो सकता है। मैं सभी साथियों के साथ फिगर शेयर कर रहा हूँ, करीब 1018 के आसपास नोबेल प्राइजेस आज तक दिए गए, जो 1901 में शुरू हुए थे। और किसके नाम से है? अल्फ्रेड नोबेल के नाम से। आप जानते हैं कि हुआ अल्फ्रेड नोबेल? अल्फ्रेड नोबेल वाज ए स्वीडिश सिटीजन, स्वीडन के। 350 पेटेंट उसके नाम थे। जिसने डायनामाइट बनाया, जिसने गन पाउडर बनाया, जिसने आपकी ब्लास्ट कैप बनाई, he was an inventor, he was a chemist, he was an entrepreneur, he was a scientist। और बोफोर्स कंपनी आप सभी जानते हैं, it was also owned by him। 3 भाई थे वो। और मैं ये आपको क्यों बताना चाहता हूँ, वो इसलिए बताना चाहता हूँ, उसने इतनी शोहरत अर्जित की और बहुत कुछ किया। अब डायनामाइट तो आपका, अगर आप ये कहोगे कि खदान और आपकी खान उनको खोदने के लिए, सुरंग बनाने के लिए यूज होता है, लेकिन ब्लास्ट करने के लिए अगर आपका कहीं पे अटैक करना, उसके लिए भी यूज होता है। व्हाट एग्जैक्टली वेंट रॉन्ग? 1888 में उनके एक भाई थे जिनका नाम था लुडविग, वो एक्सपायर हो गए। लुडविग को कोई जानता नहीं था, लेकिन अल्फ्रेड नोबेल वाज वेरी पॉपुलर है। और जो अखबार में छपती है ना, वो ऑब्वियसली छपती है, उस ऑब्जेक्टिव में क्या लिखा गया? अल्फ्रेड नोबल, मर्चेंट ऑफ डेथ इज नो मोर, मर्चेंट ऑफ डेथ। जब उसने ये देखा, मेरे को जो दुनिया है, समाज है, मेरे को मर्चेंट ऑफ डेथ के नाम से जानेगी। उसी टाइम उसने डिसाइड कर लिया कि जो मेरे पास कंप्लीट जो सारे असेट हैं, जो मेरा फॉर्चून है कंप्लीट, वो मैं सारा आपको समाज को समर्पित करना चाहता हूं। और उसी तरह से इसने डिसाइड कर लिया कि ये जितनी भी इन्वेस्टमेंट है, ये नोबेल प्राइजेस के रूप में देश दुनिया में जो अच्छा काम करें उनके नाम दी जाएंगे। दिस वाज हिज ग्रेट कंट्रीब्यूशन। तो मैं आपको थोड़ा सा इस मौके के ऊपर ये चीज बताना चाहता हूं कि हम अगर कुछ ऐसा, मैं एक एग्जांपल जो कोट करना चाह रहा था, वो आप इसलिए बताना चाह रहा था कि इतनी बड़ी पॉपुलेशन जो मैं आपका 1018 नोबेल प्राइजेस में से इंडिया के नाम कितने हैं? 13 नोबेल प्राइजेस। चाइना के नाम कितने हैं? ओनली 8। पाकिस्तान के नाम कितने हैं? सिर्फ 2। अगर आप ये कहोगे कि साउथ एशिया की अकेले की पॉपुलेशन 25% से ज्यादा है। इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन आज के टाइम पे 1.47 बिलियन है, चाइना की 1.41 बिलियन है, यूएसए की 359 मिलियन, मतलब 1/4 ऑफ इंडिया। जरा समझिए, यूएसए के नाम कितने आपके नोबेल प्राइजेस? 413 अकेले। ब्रिटेन की पॉपुलेशन जो हमारे आपके 1/4 ऑफ उत्तर प्रदेश है पॉपुलेशन, कितने नोबेल प्राइजेस? 143। जरा समझिए आप मैं क्या इशारा करना चाहता हूं। अकेले कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी के नाम 107 नोबेल प्राइजेस है। और मैं आपको इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि आपका जो 2018 के जो नोबेल आपके कैम्ब्रिज लैब के केमिस्ट्री के, उनसे हम 1 to 1 मिले हैं। और कितना काम होता है ये आप समझ नहीं सकते हैं। तो आपके मैं आपको वो वाक्य तो बताना चाह रहा हूं कि आपका सिर्फ एक एग्जांपल दूंगा उसका। जो प्रो चांसलर उस टाइम आपके पूरे इंडियन डेलीगेट को एड्रेस करने के लिए आए, वो आए तो अपने हाथ में उसकी एक फ्लास्क थी। उसने खुद ये कहा, कहता है यू ऑल विल बी लाफिंग एट मी, दिस ओल्ड पर्सन हैज कम विद अ फ्लास्क, व्हाई हैज ब्रॉट? देन ही टोल्ड दिस इज कैम्ब्रिज ब्रांड। और उसने क्या बताया कि जो देश दुनिया को जो हमने ऑटो कट जो प्रोडक्ट में दिया, वो आपका कैम्ब्रिज ने दिया। उन्होंने कहा कि इसकी स्टील की बॉडी होगी, इसकी प्लास्टिक और दूसरी सिंथेटिक मिक्स बॉडी होगी, लेकिन पेटेंट कैम्ब्रिज का है। तो मैं सिर्फ आपको बताना चाहता हूं, हम कई बार सोचते हैं कि हम ऐसा कुछ नया क्या करें। स्वामी विवेकानंद, what he said, education is a manifestation of perfection that exists in everyone. रामकृष्ण परमहंस के स्टूडेंट तो बहुत रहे होंगे। स्वामी विवेकानंद तो एक लोग थे जिन्हें पूरे देश को अपने विचारों से जगमगाया। So what I'm trying to convey on this occasion कि हमें we need to encourage creativity, innovation, ताकि हमारे बच्चे, हमारे स्कॉलर्स बहुत अच्छा कुछ नया कर पाए, कुछ देश दुनिया को दे पाए। इसलिए कहते हैं ना, आइडिया टू प्रोडक्ट। हम इनक्यूबेशन की बात करते हैं, वो सिर्फ एक कार्यक्रम तक सीमित नहीं रह जाए, सिलेबस तक सीमित नहीं रह जाए। तो सिंपल इसी चीज के ऊपर आपको मैं एक ही चीज बताना चाहता हूं कि यस, वी हैव टू एनकरेज ऑल दिस इनोवेशन, राइट? सो विद ऑल दिस वर्ड्स मैं एक ही चीज जरूर कहना चाहूंगा कि यस, हम कई बार ये की डिग्री अपने अर्न कर रहे हैं, उसके साथ हमें अपना एक एटीट्यूड चेंज करने की जरूरत है, हमारी सोच बदलने की जरूरत है। ये हमें देखने की जरूरत है कौन देख रहा है, क्या परफॉर्मेंस होगी। यस, आवर एटीट्यूड, आवर स्किल्स, दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। नजर को बदलो तो नजारे बदल जाते हैं, सोच को बदलो तो सितारे बदल जाते हैं। कस्तियां बदलने की जरूरत के साथ इन शब्दों के साथ मैं वाइस चेयरमैन और पूरी ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी उनका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि उन्होंने इस पावन अवसर पर मुझे मौका दिया आप सबके बीच आने का। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, sir, for such thought-provoking words. I'm sure it has enriched us deeply. I would like to welcome Mr. Uday Sharma, sir, member of the governing body, IITM College of Engineering. Thank you, sir, for your gracious presence today. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome our next esteemed guest, Professor Dr. Yudhvir Singh. Professor Yudhvir Singh received the BE degree in Computer Science and Engineering in first class from CR State College of Engineering, Murthal, Sonipat, currently known as Dept, Murthal. He obtained his ME degree in Software Engineering from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala, with first class honors, first position, and PhD degree from Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar. He is currently working as professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Mahashidyanand University, Rohtak. He has also worked with Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar, MMEC, Maulana, etc., and having around 25 years of teaching, research and administrative experience. Sir has worked on various administration and academic positions in the university like Director UCC, Director Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Center for Skill and Vocational Education, Mahashidyanand University, Rohtak, Director UIET, Dean Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Dean College Development Council, AICT Coordinator, Head of Department, Joint Secretary cum Treasurer, Alumni Association, and many more. Sir has also organized various conferences and was engaged in various other academic activities. He has also visited Cambridge University, UK, Sheffield Hallam University, UK, and Boston, New York, New Jersey, USA. He has done various academic assignments such as chaired many sessions in various conferences, invited for expert talks, reviewer of journal, conferences, member of editorial board, advisor, evaluator of doctorate thesis, etc. He is member of various professional bodies and societies. He has supervised 15 PhD research scholars and currently supervising 8 more scholars for PhD, and he has also supervised 30 master's scholars. His research areas are artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, cloud computing, information security, wireless sensor networks, computer networks, and mobile communication. He has published more than 150 papers in national and international journals and conferences of repute such as IEEE, Elsevier, Springer, with Google Scholars 23H Index and 56 IITM Index, and with around 1800 plus citations. 80 plus research papers has been published in SCI, SCIC, Web of Science, Scopus Index journals. He is principal investigator and co-investigator of 2 major research projects funded by University Grant Commission, New Delhi, India, in the area of network security. He has also filed 5 patents, 1 Indian, 1 German, and 4 Australian. He is also the recipient of the Young Scientist Award by International Academy of Physical Sciences for year 2010 and also received 10 academic awards such as Best Research Papers, etc. Besides all that, he is involved in various social activities also. Representing IITM College of Engineering, I request Uday sir to please come and kindly present the real welcome to Professor Yudhvir sir as token of our sincere appreciation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving forward, we are honored to have with us Dr. Sadia Ameen, Associate Professor, Department of Bioconvergence, Science, Jeonbuk National University, Republic of Korea, who is joining us virtually. Dr. Sadia Ameen is an internationally acclaimed researcher specializing in advanced materials and devices. Her pioneering work in sensors, supercapacitors, solar cells, catalysis, and bioconvergence science has earned her global recognition. Currently serving as the Advanced Material and Devices Laboratory at Jeonbuk National University, she brings invaluable international perspectives on interdisciplinary innovation. Let us extend a warm welcome to her as she joins us on the virtual platform to deliver her keynote address.
whenever, and these are the students who have represented college at various ventures also. For some time, the patience is required. Please do not leave the seminar hall recklessly, because if some venture is being done, somebody who is from international platform, if somebody is joining, it may take some time because we are away from their vicinity. So please have patience. We are also exhibiting the same and we require, because the event cannot be successful unless and until you people cooperate. And once you cooperate in these ventures, or the probability of these students taking for future events also in months. So we'll be really glad if you people are cooperating and not leave in the seminar hall in a reckless manner. Please have patience. The faculty members are also exhibiting the same. Even I am exhibiting the same, not demanding something to you which I am not doing. So it's very much required. Fine? Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience till now, as things stand now. So hoping to have the same wonderful audience for the next sessions as well. Thank you.
पिछले वाला तूने एंड नहीं किया था।
डाउनलोड कर लो,
कर लो। शेयर रील करना है कि नहीं करना? मैं क्या कह रही हूँ, पानी की बोतल चाहिए और मेरे को वो चाहिए, पावर बैंक ले आऊँगा।
वही रहने दे ये भी
Yes. So, yeah. So, before starting my presentation or my talk, I would like to say thanks to the organization committee members of International Conference on Emerging Trends and Innovation, IITM College of Engineering, Bahadurgarh, India, for inviting me for presenting my research today. And I'd like to say special thanks to Dr. Chudra. She is the one who has contacted me. So, I would like to specially acknowledge her. So as for today's presentation, I will talk about the next generation nanomaterials for electrochemical applications. And these are the contents where I will present, at first I will give the brief introduction about the work, and during this talk I will discuss about the electrochemical platforms for the detection of microplastics, then how these electrochemical sensors are used for detecting the heavy metal ions and also the pharmaceutical materials. So let me see, the nanomaterials nowadays they are in high demand and we see their wide applications. So for example, they are commercially applied for the environmental remediations, solar cells, nanoelectronic devices, biological uses, sensors and many more. So in today's discussion, I will talk about the electrochemical sensors and how we have exploited these nanomaterials for the fabrication of electrochemical sensors. Why we have opted the electrochemical sensors, the reasons are quite clear, like the sensitivity as we obtain from the electrochemical sensors, it is pretty promising, as well as the detection limit is for detecting the LEDs is the time duration is pretty less, like we can do the sensing measurement within the seconds, selectivity is higher, and all the main thing is the fabrication of these electrochemical sensors are simple. So it doesn't mean that electrochemical sensors they are the only techniques which are applied for the detection of the toxic chemicals. Apart from that, there are several other techniques too, like for example, atomic absorption spectroscopy, liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, capillary electrophoresis, and many more. But what we have noticed over here that these techniques somehow they are related to the high cost or for the complex amplification, and there is also we have seen the limitations in real-time monitoring. However, in terms of the electrochemical sensors, they are portable. Means you can take easily these samples. You can move these samples from one place to another. They are promising in the terms of exhibiting the rapid and real-time analysis. They show the high selectivity and sensitivity. But somehow, the challenges are associated with these sensors too. For example, we notice the major challenges which are associated like in improving the electron transfer rate over the surface of the working electrode, and also it is quite challenging for improving the surface properties of the sensing electrodes. And regarding the working of these electrochemical sensors, it is quite simple. For example, there are three chemical reactions that takes place over the surface of the electrode. It can be oxidation, reduction, absorption, disorption, or precipitation. And regarding the working, here, regarding the working of these electrochemical sensors is pretty simple. Like what we do, we fabricate these sensors and upon the application of the potential, we receive the responses. These responses, they pass through the transducers and we obtain the signals. The interesting thing is these signals, they can be obtained in different ways, like it can be electrochemical, photometric, magnetic, or calorimetric. But in our research work, we are particularly interested in taking these electrochemical signals because we are fabricating the electrochemical cells. And why we are giving the prime importance to these electrochemical sensors? For the simple reasons like they are cheap, they are easy to maintain, they exhibit a high sensitivity, collectivity, and of course they are fast. Like I talked before in the initial slides, I showed that somehow it is not possible to do the measurement or monitoring the toxic materials within a second instead of spending, earlier it was like spending the hours or minutes. Now it is possible to finish this process within the seconds. How they enter the human body, they affect the vascular system of human body, endocrine system, inflammatory reactions, and the reproductive system. So it is now essential to protect these microplastics and to monitor the presence of these microplastics in the environment. Like I said, there are several techniques, and especially the techniques which are designed for the detection of these microplastics are spectroscopic ones, which are commonly used. And among those spectroscopic techniques, the promising ones are like the FTIR and Raman. They are capable of detecting these microplastics, but still we observe certain kind of limitations. Like if we discuss the case of the Raman spectroscopy, what we observe that for the detection of the microplastics, somehow the analysis is impossible if the sample is contaminated because of its use in the excited states of molecules. And regarding the FTIR, it is like irregular technology, and the analysis of the samples, if it is somehow smaller than the 20 micrometer in sizes, we cannot go for the utilization of FTIR for detecting the microplastics. So what we are left now, that's why we selected to go for the electrochemical sensor rather than taking up some spectroscopic techniques. So this is one of our research work which got published in 2024, and this work reports about the detection of the microplastics through the electromaterials, cerium oxide nanoparticles. Like this talk is related how we have exploited the different nanoparticles or nanomaterials as electrodes for the determination of or the detection of the toxic materials. So here what we have done, this is simple processing or simple working of the electrochemical sensors. We just fabricate the sensors and we apply it to the three electrode system, where the one is the reference electrode, another one is the counter electrode, it can be of the gold or silver, and the working electrode. Of course, this is the working electrode. So what we have done in this work, we have synthesized the cerium oxide nanoparticles and we deposited it over the surface of the glassy carbon electrode, and later we applied this as the working electrode. So these are some of the electrochemical analysis techniques that we perform the simple cyclobit voltammetry and MSP, which is the linear state voltammetry. And in this work, what we did, we detected two kinds of microplastics, the polyethylene and polypropylene. Particularly in the case of the polyethylene, we picked the different polyethylene of different sizes, like the size ranges from 27 to 30 micrometer, 53 to 63 micrometer, and 125 to 150 micrometers. So what we have observed, like we have selected the polyethylene, and this polyethylene, like we picked up different sizes. So what we noticed, as the sizes of these microplastic increases, the current response is somehow decreased, which ultimately resulted in the less interaction between the particle collisions and the modified working electrodes. So these are some more properties or some sensing performances, like we did the cytovoltammetry as well as the current voltage responses. And here, these are the sensing parameters. The sensing parameters, like in this work, we have used the two kinds of microplastic, polyethylene and polypropylene. And regarding to that, there are several sensing parameters, like we performed this in the real samples, pure water as well as seawater, and we calculated the limit of detections and limit of quantifications. So what is important to know over here, that what is the difference between the limit of detection as well as the limit of quantification? The limit of detection is related to the lowest pressure of the enemy that can reliably be tested. On the other side, the limit of quantification, it refers to the lowest quantification of the enemy that is dequalified. So this is our next work. This book was published in Journal of Environmental Chemical Engineering in last year, 2025. And here we fabricated the electrode material by the making of hydrogel. And for this we have used the gadolinium alginate hydrogels and we applied it for the electrode material. So I did for the, like in the first case I have discussed the cerium oxide nanoparticles which got applied as the electrode material. And during this work, we have prepared the hydrogels. The reason for selecting these hydrogels are quite simple. Like hydrogels, they are more like a polymers and they exhibit a high amount of water and can be costly physically and chemically. And due to the retention of the water contents, these hydrogels, they exhibit a conductivity. Apart from the synthesizing this hydrogel, we have also incorporated the metal ion, which is the gadolinium in our case, for enhancing the conductivity of the electrode material. So this is like a morphological image is exhibiting the composite of the hydrogel with the metal ions. And again, these are the sensing performances. And we have noticed that due to the incorporation of the metal ion, which in our case is the gadolinium, due to the incorporation of this metal ion into the hydrogel, we have noticed the enhanced electron transfer process, which is obviously we need it for the functioning of the electrode materials, and these are the sensing parameters. So what we did in this work, we prepared the composite materials in 3 ratios, like we have incorporated gadolinium in 1 weight percentage, 3 weight percentage, and 5 weight percentage, and we used it for the detection of the polystyrene of 100 microns. So what we have, the interesting thing that you can notice that among the sensing parameters, when we have incorporated the 1 weight percentage of gadolinium into the hydrogel, the sensing parameters are like this. However, when we have increased the concentration of this metal ion into the hydrogel, what we have noticed, the limit of detection is somehow decreased along with the decrease in the sensitivity. But again, when we increase to the maximum limit of incorporating the metal ion into the composite, say this time we have incorporated the 5 weight percentage, somehow the sensitivity has increased and the limit of detection is also increased. So why do we observe these kind of non-linear sensitivity trends? This is primarily related to the electrode materials. We have prepared the electrode from the hydrogels, and there is, because of utilizing these hydrogels, they are more likely the cross-linking porosity and the active site distributions in these hydrogels. Say for example, first case where we have done the incorporation 1 weight percentage of metal ion, here we have noticed the high conductivity, which probably due to the balancing between the porosity and the active sites of the electrode material. However, upon further increasing the metal ion into the nanocomposite, the sensitivity somehow got lower, which we observe because of the excessive cross-linking, hydrogels become more rigid, and due to that, the diffusion is reduced and clustering occurs. Furthermore, when we have increased the incorporation of the metal ion up to the weight percentage of 5, sensitivity and other parameters, they are increased, which is due to, because of that, here starting from the 1 weight percentage, we have increased 2.58%. And due to this overwhelming number of the metal ions, which is the gadolinium ions into the hydrogels, somehow they compensate for the porosity losses, leading to the stronger signals. And this is how we have explained the sensitive mechanism. Like we have considered the several aspects. Like for example, like electrostatic attractions between the negatively charged surface of the microplastics and the metal ions. It can also be due to the non-covalent interactions between the benzene rings of the polystyrene and the cations, that is the gadolinium, and the binding of the hydroxyl ions and the carboxylic functional groups on the alginate surface with hydrogen ions present in polystyrene. This is our next work where we have done the selection of the polyvinyl chloride, and what we did here, we have synthesized the nickel molybdate nanotubes. These nickel molybdate nanotubes we synthesized from the molybdenum trioxide nanorods. So the first three is morphological images, that means from A to C they exhibit the synthesis of the molybdenum trioxide, and after that we utilize these molybdenum trioxide nanorods for the preparation of the nanotubes. And here we have obtained the nickel molybdate nanotubes. Apart from getting the nanotubes out from the nanorods, we have also noticed the occurrence of these fibrous structures over the surface of the nanotube, which is obviously quite promising because somehow they are increasing the surface to volume ratio of the electrode materials. And for the measurement, we have performed the electrochemical analysis by measuring the EIS analysis. And what we have seen here, like you can see, we have raised the concentration of the LED into an electrolyte, and we have obtained the EIS curve, which somehow depicting the semicircle. And what we have noticed, this semicircle, what it indicates, it is actually demonstrating the high peak, which represent the parallel recombination of the charge transfer resistance and the double layer capacitance, which we denoted as the CPL, at the interface of the LED and the electrode in the electrochemical reactions. So the smaller the diameter of this RCT, the better is the or faster is the redox reactions. Redox kinetics that we observe. So what we have seen here, when we have taken the lowest concentration of the LED, like 50 ppm, there the diameter of the semicircle is pretty lower. However, as we have increased the concentration of the LED in the electrolyte solution, the diameter is increased. That means it exhibits the lower reaction kinetics. And these are some of the obtained parameters, like we calculated the limit of detections along with the limit of quantifications. And regarding the sensing mechanism, it is quite clear that due to the depositions of this electrode material, there is a generation of oxygenated species, which somehow increases the accumulation of the charges, increases the attachment of the microplastic, which is in this case is polyvinyl chloride, over the surface of the electrode material, and ultimately results in the improvement of the current. Now, fabrication of the sensors is one thing. However, we also need to pay attention to check these sensors for the real samples. For example, this time what we did, instead of checking our fabricated sensors into an electrolyte medium, we have prepared the electrolyte with the deionized water, tap water, and NaCl, which is the artificial seawater. So, like from the EIS analysis, what we have observed for the cases of the deionized water as well as the tap water, the cell radius or diameter of the semicircle is somehow lower. But when we have taken the seawater, you can see the semicircle, the diameter of the semicircle is pretty higher. That is literally because of, since we have made artificial seawater, and the seawater may contain the constituent ions, for example, the fluoride and the sulfide, which might interfere with the electrochemical sensing analysis, and somehow it is responsible for showing the higher semicircle in the EIS analysis. Since I am running short of time, so I have to conclude my talk fastly. So this is the talk where we have exploited the electrochemical sensors for the analysis of the heavy metal ions. Why we are in a need of detecting the heavy metal ions? Simply because they heavy metal ions, they are somehow affecting our body, and almost all our body parts get affected once they are exposed to the heavy metals. And for the detection of these heavy metal ions, this time we have prepared the electrode materials utilizing the MOS, which are the metal oxide framework. And we give the preference for the two-dimensional metal oxide framework rather than the three-dimensional one, because of the reasons that two-dimensional one are more optimized for providing the high surface to volume ratios. This is one of our work getting published in Journal of Water Processing Engineering, and what we did here, we have made up this MOF, which is CIF 67, and we have doped it with the nitrogen. Let me not discuss the experimental work, let me discuss it here. So what we have observed is the morphological images. This one is CIS 61, 67 is the pristine one. Then we have done the pyrolysis at different temperatures like 350 and the 500 degrees centigrade, and we applied these one as for the electrode for detecting the heavy metal ions. Again, these are the sensing parameters, and this is the sensing mechanism. Since I am running short of time, I am skipping this part. Another work that we have published in surfaces and interfaces is here. Again, we have prepared the MOF, CIF8, and what we did, we have, apart from synthesizing this MOF, we have also done the preparation of the composite materials. Like one composite material we prepared with the graphene oxide and the another one with the reduced graphene oxide. These are some morphological images. And what we observed when we prepared the composite with the graphene oxide, somehow the particle size had got reduced. But when we prepared it with the reduced graphene oxide composition with the CIF8, what we noticed that the surface properties is somehow the surface of the electrode material becomes more smooth, and that is why we have observed here in the sensing parameters, we have observed the low sensitivity in case when we have utilized the CIF8 along with the reduced graphene oxide composite materials, because generally what happens when we have taken the graphene oxide, it somehow provides the porous structure, ultimately leading to the accessibility of the copper ion which we detected in this case. But when we have used the reduced graphene oxide along with the MOF, so in this case, it reduces the dispersion of the MOF material, and due to the lack of MOF into the composite material, the sensor parameters somehow they got decreased. Now, let me quickly talk about the electrochemical sensors and how they are utilized for the detection of the toxic chemicals. This is one of our old work which was published in 2018, and what we did here, we synthesized the TiO2 nanotubes. Process for the synthesis of the TiO2 nanotubes was quite simple. We adopted the electrochemical anodic oxidation by utilizing the TiO foil, and we utilize it for the detection of the aniline. That is, this is like the surface properties. Here we have utilized this TiO2 nanotubes. Excuse me. TiO2 nanotubes of diameter roughly about 100 to 120 nanometer in sizes. These are their corresponding sensing results and sensing mechanisms. Again, the work which we published in Calendar in year 2012, here we have taken the zinc oxide nanorod and we applied it for the detection of the pharmaceutical material, that is hydrazine. And this is the some images which clearly shows the synthesis of our aligned zinc oxide nanorods over the surface of the active material. These are some of the characterizations which we perform the synthesis of these materials. And these are the sensing results, which I am not going in detail due to the time limitations. Now, let me see, we have exported several electrode materials. We have synthesized the nanomaterials, also we have used the hydrogels. We also utilized the metal oxide frameworks, MOF, and their composite. Last but not least, but we have also utilized, we have synthesized certain kind of polymers, which usually in our mind we think that when we talk about the polymers, they are insulating in nature, but it is not always true. There are different class of the polymers which we call as the conducting polymers. And these conducting polymers are more or less similar like the semiconducting materials. So here we polyphenol nanofibers as electrode materials for the detection of the metadihydroxybenzene. And the interesting thing, apart from detecting the metadihydroxybenzenes, we have also did the detection of the ortho and the para, which are the isomers of the metadihydroxybenzenes. And instead of utilizing the electrode material directly for the sensing applications, what we did here, first we exploited this PN junction. Why we are called them as the PN junctions? Because polymer is of course P-type and we have deposited on the silicon substrate which is N-type. So what we noticed, here we have observed the linear current with somehow the current in the forward and the backward direction which increases linearly. Somehow when we made the Schottky diode after depositing the PT on top of the PN junction, so nature of the current has changed from linear to non-linear, and somehow we noticed the promising increase in the current in the forward direction. So apart from that, what we have noticed here, like you have seen, that the higher current response is observed when we use the metadihydroxybenzenes as compared to the ortho and the para. The reason is simple because the metadihydroxybenzene, it gives a well-defined redox peak, unlike the ortho and the para, which due to the overlapping of the redox peak, the current signal got decreased. And since the sensing mechanisms, like in the case, we have checked the electrode before and after the sensing performances just to make sure what kind of changes has occurred on the electrode material itself. Like this one is where we have seen before the application of the sensing parameters, and this is after performing the sensing analysis. And what we have observed before that, only the two peaks are seen in the hydrogen and NMR, whereas after performing the sensing analysis, apart from these two peaks, we have also observed the occurrences of these additional two peaks, which itself shows that because the sensing has done, and there due to some kind of the chemical bonding has happened over the surface of the electrode materials, so that's why the NMR has changed. This is the last one that I am quickly going through this. We, apart from exploiting the conducting polymers, we have also tried the fabrications of the small organic molecules, and we utilize it for the electrode materials. Small organic molecules, like we have abbreviated in this work as HTD, and we prepared a composition with the graphene oxide. While we have incorporated the graphene oxide as a combination material in the nanocomposite, just for improving the surface area, enhancing the chemical stability, and also for higher fiberization and the hydrophilic properties. So this is like unlike the synthesis of the conducting polymers, which are some more or less the direct procedures, but when we are doing the synthesis of the small molecules, we need to prepare certain kind of intermediates. Like in this case, for the preparation of the HTD, we did the synthesis of two intermediates 1 and 2, which we did for certain characterizations. Let me skip this one due to lack of time. And we have observed that we have utilized this small organic molecule-based electrode for the detection of the chromium and the copper ion. And out of these two, the chromium ion detection is pretty higher as compared to the chromium one. These are the conclusion of my talk. Like we have exploited the different nanomaterials, the metal oxides, conducting polymers, small organic molecules, their composites, metal oxide vapor, and we utilize this for the detection of different analytes. Like I have discussed about the detection of microplastics, along with the detections of the heavy metal ions and the pharmaceutical materials, and that's all. Thank you all. And I am sorry because I quickly went through the presentation due to the lack of time. So I welcome the questions for the sessions.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am, for your truly informative address. Your compelling reflections have significantly deepened our understanding of the topic. It is now privileged to invite Professor Yudhvir sir to grace the stage and enlighten us with his perspective. I request the audience to kindly welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you, everyone.
Respected Vice Chairman, Vandana, other staff members from the college and the respected professor and जो मेरे यूनिवर्सिटी में सीनियर कलीग हैं और बड़े भाई जैसे हैं, टीचर, स्टूडेंट and the participant, good afternoon to all of you. You have heard two guidance lecture. One is deep technical from Professor Sadia, and second is very diverse lecture, guidance lecture by Professor Gill. Professor Gill have nothing left for me to speak. So, but still, I will cover some of the aspects which still have not touched in a very detailed way. Professor Gill. So basically, प्रोफेसर गिल ने बात की थी एआई की, साइबर सिक्योरिटी की, सस्टेनेबिलिटी की. वी आर सस्टेनेबल इन द अर्लियर टाइम. आज से 50 साल पहले गांव में कोई भी वेस्ट नहीं होता था. एक साल के अंदर वो सारा वेस्ट होगा खेतों में चला जाता था, रिसाइकिल हो जाता था. सिर्फ एक कांच की बोतल ऐसी होती थी, वो टूटने के बाद जो एक साल में वेस्ट बनती थी. और आजकल हम क्या देख रहे हैं, हर घर से इतना कूड़ा निकलता है वो जितना पूरे गांव से निकलता है. तो हम सस्टेनेबल से अनसस्टेनेबल में खुद आ गए. अब दूसरा सर ने टेक्नोलॉजी बताया, साइबर सिक्योरिटी बताया, एआई का बताया. अभी जो मेरा जो बेसिकली कंटेंट इज मोर अराउंड एआई, और एआई में भी एक अलग एस्पेक्ट लिया है, दैट इज एथिक्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. एआई की हम बहुत से एप्लीकेशन हम देख रहे हैं, एंड एक मार्केट में कॉमन फंडामेंटल आप बात मानते हो, इफ समबडी इज इन्वेस्टिंग मनी, ही इज गेनिंग समथिंग फॉर दैट. दिस इज फंडामेंटल रूल. And if somebody is investing in AI, and that is applicable on that also. So, when that is earning something, then where the ethics goes? हम सबके पास फोन है, मोबाइल फोन है. मोबाइल फोन पे हम बात कर, मोबाइल फोन बंद रखा हुआ है, हम किसी से बात नहीं कर रहे. कोई हम बात कर रहे हैं कि हमने एक कार खरीदनी है, एक हमने टेलीविजन खरीदना है, या कुछ हमने कोई पर्टिकुलर अपना डॉक्टर से अपॉइंटमेंट लेनी है. हम दोबारा उसके बाद अपना या नेक्स्ट डे या सेम डे अपना सोशल मीडिया देखते हैं, तो हमें कार की ऐड दिखती है. क्यों? हमारा फोन तो बंद था, हमने तो कार के रिसर्च में डाला. So, what is that? This is the basically misuse of AI, and that is the basically the theft on our privacy, and that is the mainly ethical issue in the AI. This is just, I will give you a simple example. We have heard a case on the Facebook on US. Some parents have claimed $6 billion on the Facebook for what? That Facebook is making the edit of their kids. And they have alleged that this is the algorithm which is making you edit. And this is happening nowadays. And we are seeing the reels, everybody. कोई ऐसा है जिसने रील्स नहीं देखी आज तक? Is anybody there? Why reels are popular? Can you anybody have the idea? Because of the attention period will be becoming lesser and lesser. रील्स कितनी मिनट की है? 1 मिनट की, 2 मिनट की. पहले हम मूवीज देखते थे 3-3 घंटे की, पता है फिर वो धीरे धीरे कर करके आगे हम अपना टीवी से उस पर हाफ एन आवर का एक 1 आवर एपिसोड फिर हाफ आवर, वो भी हमारे कंसंट्रेशन नहीं करेगी। अब कंसंट्रेशन आगे 1 मिनट की होगी, तो उसके लिए रील पॉपुलर हो रही है। और रील क्या करती है, अगेन जो फेसबुक ने किया वही रील्स कर रही है, बैकएंड पे एक एडिक्शन। और फेसबुक के बारे में सबने काफी चीज कोर्स की है। ज्यादा कोर्स के नहीं तो लेकिन आपसे फर्स्ट वाले कोर्स को देखो, दिस इज बाय द एंड्रू एंजिन and that is the basically artificial intelligence in the loop electricity. Can we see in the loop anything which can be produced without electricity? Think about that. If we have no electricity, then can we survive nowadays? Just 50 years earlier in the villages, we are surviving without electricity. And 20 years earlier, we are surviving without this very comfortably. आप घर में वॉलेट भूल जाओ, चश्मा भूल जाओ, गाड़ी की चाबी भूल जाओ, everything you can forget. But क्या आप मोबाइल भूल सकते हो? No. This is basically मोबाइल नहीं भूल सकते, और मोबाइल फोन में आपको सबसे पहले बताएगा आपका AI है। When this is becoming the AI is becoming the new life and new electricity. So there are various things. So then when somebody is becoming the lifeline, then if somebody is playing with that lifeline, then what will happen? For his benefit. AI companies, खासकर जो मीडिया है, सोशल मीडिया है, क्या कर रहा है? बेसिक फंडा क्या है? जितने ज्यादा व्यूज होंगे, जितने ज्यादा फॉलोअर्स होंगे, उतना ज्यादा मनी आएगा। और मनी कैसे आएगा, फॉलोअर्स कैसे बढ़ेंगे? मेकिंग एडिक्शन एंड व्यूज। सो दिस इज टेक्निकली अनएथिकल थिंग। सो दिस इज द बेसिकली आवर थिंग्स कि एआई के रिस्क क्या है, क्या चीजें रहेंगी, इनको हम अपना बहुत ज़्यादा था for the time questions and just I have given only the few points of that. अभी Elon Musk की statement है, I think artificial intelligence we are submitting the demon. हम खुद ही शैतान को बुला रहे हैं। And then this is as sir have told that data, what AI knows about us. That is, firstly we have the primary data. But what AI is getting, that AI is getting that our every primary, secondary, tertiary, every type of the data is captured by this AI. AI is having our lifestyle knowledge. हम कब उठते हैं, कब क्या करते हैं, हम कितने बजे सोते हैं, कितने बजे हम खाते हैं, क्या खाते हैं, क्या चीज बच्चे करते हैं, कौन सा ब्रांड हमें पसंद है, कौन सा बच्चे को पसंद है। Everything will be stored in the AI. This is just if I am not wrong, we can be see within the 4-5 years or even prior to that also. This is AI is completely capturing each and every small moment of us, and that is basically generating out the mapping. And that will be, what will happen with that mapping? That will start misusing that. अभी एक मिसयूज है, हमने एक एग्जांपल बताया कि हमने बोला विदाउट ऑफ फोन में भी हमने वो रिकॉर्ड हो गया है। अगर उसे बता कि इस आदमी को 6 बजे चाय चाहिए, तो वो 6 बजे चाय के लिए आपको उससे पहले अलार्म दे देगा। अब एजेंटिक एआई ने क्या किया कि इस आदमी को 6 बजे चाय चाहिए और इस फ्लेवर की चाहिए, छुट्टी को इस फ्लेवर की चाहिए, वर्किंग को इस फ्लेवर की, उसका एजेंटिक एआई क्या करेगा? दैट विल डू दैट। अभी यूएसए का एक वीडियो था जहाँ पे अपनी मदर की हेल्प के लिए एलेक्सा एक्टिवेट कर रखा था। पहले एलेक्सा सिर्फ इंग्लिश में बोलता था, अब एलेक्सा आपकी लैंग्वेज में बोलता है। एंड दैट एलेक्सा इज टॉकिंग इन बिहारी लैंग्वेज एंड मीन्स कि दैट इज बिकॉज इसकी ओल्ड मदर इज टॉकिंग इन बिहारी लैंग्वेज एंड देन Alexa is also conversation in the same language, and that is able to understanding that. And the things, so this is the new era is coming. So now AI is just mimicking the human. जैसे ब्रेन काम करता है, एक छोटा सा ये मैं आपको बताता हूँ। हम बाइक पे स्कूटर पे कभी टक्कर लगी है किसी की, गिरे हैं कहीं पे, आप वहां दोबारा जाते हो तो क्या आपको वो मोमेंट याद आता है? This is we are doing with the machine. Same thing. This is mimicking the human. Means के the whatever is means के that is. अब कोई हमसे पूछे कि आपका कहाँ पे कब कैसे एक्सीडेंट हुआ था, we are not able to tell that. But our memory has the everything small is stored in that, and that is the data for that case. And the similarly, same thing we are mimicking human intelligence. Means everything is based on this memory. Whatever we have faced in our life, but whatever we are seeing in somewhere, XYZ studied something, means that is the data for us. And based on that data, we are taking some decisions and changing doing the AI. Application क्या है? I will not note of that. But like to the ethics. Ethics is again a very question mark on our life. One thing is ethical for us, but that is not ethical for the second human. So this is basically we are the mimicking the human, but every human is unique. So how can we make universal AI? So because of that, AI is picking the data. If universal human is same, then no need of the data. But I am different, Professor Gill is different, Ma'am Vandana is different, means everybody is different. So that means that each and every replica for that replica giving data. And so this is the same thing is happening with that. Just a common social example. Multiple marriage is unethical in India, but the multiple marriage in some religions is not unethical. Similarly, various things they are earning with the ethics. हम एक कॉमन बिजनेस में बात करते हैं। ओल्ड टाइम जो इंडियन बिजनेसमैन का क्या रोल होता था? If you are taking something and that giving it slightly extra, this is common practice in all across the India from Kerala to Kashmir. उसको अलग अलग नेम से बोलते थे। दूध दिया तो दूध लिया, उसने एक गुड़ पास में डालता था। हमने अनाज दिया चिंगड़ी में से, this is common practice in that. In India, this is one ethical thing. That is why they are doing that. Behind that, they have some ethical issue that कि गलती से में से कम ना दिया हो, गलती से मैंने कम ना दिया हो, जिसकी because of that, these are same concept. But when we are talking about the Western culture, everything is coming the pack and this is 1 kg means the 1 kg. There is some ethical differentiation. So ethical system changing means normative plus applied ethics. हम normative things they can be applied to the large number of the human, but not as individual. So individual expression things they are the applied ethics. So that this is the moment for that. So these are the basically some core principles when we have to design some AI system. First thing is fairness and non-discrimination. कहने के लिए आपका AI का जो आपका डिस्क्लोजर पढ़ोगे या किसी भी आपका that is basically that actually they are doing that transparent है, fairness है, no discrimination है, no. But they have something, they are basically taking something few out of that. Directly, indirectly they say that, but back and they are taking that. So this type of thing when transparency, explainability, एआई अभी एक हम वर्ड सुनते हैं एक्सप्लेनेबल एआई, एक्सटेंडेबल एआई। अर्लियर क्या था कि जितने भी एआई मॉडल हैं दे आर द ब्लैक बॉक्स, नथिंग इज द फेयर मींस कि explain to the user how AI is taking decisions, but now this is need of the AI, because of that we have to go there. Ethical challenges हैं, biasness है, discrimination है। वो कहाँ से आएगी? डेटा से। और डेटा बायसनेस है, ह्यूमन बायसनेस है, तो डेटा फिर कैसे आ सकता है? डेटा कहाँ से आएगा एआई के पास? हमसे, आपसे आएगा। हम आप बायस है, ह्यूमन बायस है, तो डेटा भी बायस होगा। एक कॉमन एग्जांपल यूएस का है, मेडिकल केस स्टडी है। उसमें जो निग्रोज है, जो ब्लैक पर्सन है, उनको एक डिजीज हुई, मेडिकल के जो उन्होंने ट्रीटमेंट बताए, दे आर द जस्ट बेसिक एंड जस्ट less expensive. And the same अगर rigid same symptoms है, अगर वो आदमी white है, तो उसको एक आपने पूरा proper medical treatment prescribe कर दिया। क्यों? Why that happen? Because data is biased. क्यों data biased था? Earlier black person था basically poor. हमारे यहाँ भी आदमी देखते हो, हम लेबर क्लास को बुखार होगा, क्या करता है? केमिस्ट से दवाई लेगा और चला जाएगा। मीन्स कि दिस इज द डेटा। सिमिलरली अगर मेरे को, अगर सर को हुआ, अगर बुखार हुआ, तो हम क्या करेंगे? हम वी आर द गो टू प्रॉपर डॉक्टर, गुड डॉक्टर, एंड दैट विल बी टेक द मींस कुछ टेस्ट करेगा, फिर हम उसके बाद ट्रीटमेंट देंगे। बीमारी सेम है, सिम्टम सेम है, एवरीथिंग सेम, बट उन्होंने कहा कि मींस कि एआई सिस्टम क्या करेगा? एआई सिस्टम के पास डाटा है, प्रोफेसर है, तो उसको तो आप टेस्ट भी लिख दो और उसका तो डॉक्टर भी वो प्रिस्क्राइब करो। लेकिन वही एक पुअर पर्सन है, तो उसको क्या कर दो? दिस इज बायसनेस इज हैपन इन डाटा एंड सेम विद द यूएस डाटा सेट कि जो निग्रोज थे, दे आर द बेसिकली पुअर पर्सन अर्लियर टाइम, और उन्होंने काम पे खिंचला लिया जैसे अपने लेवल क्लास से, तो उसी के साइड ऑफ द थिंग हैपन। दूसरा इसमें एक और इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है जॉब डिस्प्लेसमेंट। यहाँ पे वर्ड यूज किया है जॉब डिस्प्लेसमेंट, नॉट जॉब रिप्लेसमेंट। कंप्यूटर आया था, लोगों ने क्या किया? हंगामे मचाए कि सब कुछ जॉब चली जाएगी। कंप्यूटर से जॉब नहीं आई है या पिछली गई है? लोगों की इनकम इंक्रीज हुई है, डिक्रीज हुई है? इंक्रीज हुई। तो नाउ एआई इज कमिंग। एआई बहुत कुछ कर रहा है, but ultimately there is need of the human intervention, who to control the AI system, who to modulate the AI system, and so there is the need of the AI. कोड लिख देगा, चीफ प्रोग्रामर का काम वो एक दिन में कर देगा एआई, लेकिन उन सारे प्रोग्राम्स को कोऑर्डिनेट करना, उनको वेरीफाई करना कि ठीक है, तो क्या वो एआई कर पा रहा है अभी? No. For that, अभी still need the person who having the more skill than the AI, and then they are doing autonomous decision making। अभी सदन मिसाइल का बताया कि आपको, और एक मिसाइल के पास अगर आपको वार की कोई स्टडी की हो, एक 3 सेकंड की विंडो थी। Think about that. The person is moving for the 1 building to building, and that it takes only 3 seconds time, and that has to Gill doing this window time. कितनी एक्यूरेसी चाहिए? इजराइल कहाँ है, ईरान कहाँ है, और 3 सेकंड का तो हमें एक आदमी को बाहर बिठा देना कि ये आदमी आएगा, इसको शूट करना है, आपके पास 3 सेकंड है, तो वो भी शायद आपके सामने बैठा 3 सेकंड में नहीं शूट कर पाएंगे। लेकिन उसने मींस के दिस इज हैपन इन इजराइल इज ऑटोनोमस डिसीजन मेकिंग के, उसके पास विंडो भी है, एक्यूरेसी एंड देन एक्शन इज टेकन विद इन दैट टाइम। तो ये आपका एआई है। मिस इंफॉर्मेशन डिफेक्ट वीडियोस आ रहे हैं, आज तो यूज किया है किसी ने वीडियोस आफ्टर बिल्कुल फेक वीडियो यू कांट कि आप अपने साथ ही यहाँ पे अपना शाहरुख खान को खड़ा दिखा दोगे। मींस की दिशा द जो आपके AI वीडियोस हैं डीप फेक में इवन normal person cannot be even judge that this is a real woman or this is some AI generated woman, and this can be running with that. This is again the mission for national deep fake is coming. Deep fake videos आ रहे हैं, ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है, ब्लैक बॉक्स नहीं है, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट वहाँ पे बेनिफिट्स पे हम ये डिस्कस करेंगे, रिस्क पे कुछ होंगे ज़्यादा नहीं करेंगे, कुछ प्रिंसिपल स्टडीज नहीं करेंगे। अभी एक हमने किया था एम्बिग्यूटी एआई, दिस इज ऑल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड कि इसके एम्बिग्यूटी एआई है अक्रॉस द एआई। सबसे बड़ी जैसे सर ने बताया कि एआई के लिए रेगुलेशंस नहीं है, यूएस में है, कुछ यूरोप में है, इंडिया में नहीं है, एंड दैट इज दैट दे आर अक्रॉस द बॉर्डर्स, उनमें भी डिफरेंस है। तो दिस इज बिकमिंग द वन ऑफ critical thing is ambiguity in the digital world, कि यहाँ पे आपके अलग अलग चीजें रहेंगी। अभी हम बंगाल इलेक्शन, आसाम इलेक्शन देख रहे हैं, मीडिया क्या दिखा रहा है, फेसबुक यूट्यूब पे अलग अलग जो चैनल्स क्या दिखा रहे हैं, दिस इज very common thing। आप X चैनल देखोगे, that will be the same incident के मीन्स यहाँ पे बीजेपी ने ये कर दिया, मीन्स के they show that बीजेपी as a मीन्स के hero and ममता as a culprit। सेकेंड चैनल पे आप देखोगे सेम इंसिडेंट, ममता as a hero, बीजेपी as a villain। So what is that? What is ethical? What is right? What is wrong? Who knows? The person at that point. And what the other person will be getting about that? What is the shown by the media? What is the shown by the system? What is the shown by the AI system? And this is the basically impact on the democracy. And now earlier क्या होता था कि एक आदमी ने एक वीडियो बनाने में टाइम लगता था, क्या एआई क्या करेगा, कितने वीडियो बना देगा एक दिन में, कितने चैनल्स पे अपलोड कर देगा। और अगर मीन्स की एक एस्पेक्ट से अगर आपको 50 चैनल एक आपका बीजेपी को हीरो बना रहे हैं, एक चैनल आपका ममता को हीरो बना रहा है, तो पब्लिक का पर्सपेक्टिव क्या बनेगा, दैट विल बी चेंजिंग, दैट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑन द democracy, and we are seeing nowadays. Next is killer robots। अभी हमने यूक्रेन वार में कब देखा था, इजराइल ईरान वार में हमने देख लिया, वेपन क्या था, ऑटोनोमस है। यहाँ पे एक स्टेटमेंट है that somebody say that this is human has made the machine to kill the human। अभी सर ने डायनामाइट का एक एग्जांपल बताया था, सेम थिंग विल बी हैपनिंग विद दिस। डायनामाइट इज द कंट्रोल्ड बाय द पर्सन, बट दिस इज नॉट कंट्रोल्ड बाय द पर्सन, दिस इज योर मोर देन जस्ट दैट। एंड इन दैट इज व्हाट ईरान हैज डन। They have 29 states, and after the first crisis, they have declared a second line of that, and then they have declared that the autonomous 29 independent generals, they can act any decision their own level। हमने सेंट्रल जो मेन पर्सन से देने की परमिशन नहीं है, they can act independently। And similarly, they have set it their system in such a way that कि वहाँ पे होते ही वो हो जाएगा, मीन्स के that can be मीन्स के completely blasting system की मीन्स के जहाँ पे अगर ट्रम्प ने कहा था कि हम उसको परमाणु को निकाल देंगे, तो देन पोस्टमोनली मीन्स के ईरान का सारा सिस्टम ऑटोमेटिकली एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा, that will be controlled beyond their। So this is the autonomous system। और यहाँ पे कोई इम्पैक्ट एज और डेट इंटरनेशनली कोई रोल्स नहीं है, और स्पेशली वार के टाइम में तो वैसे लागू कर सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे एक सबसे क्रिटिकल पॉइंट है कि आपका एआई जब आपका बचपन को आप ऑपरेट करने लग गया तो देन दिस इज कैन बी क्रिटिकल सिचुएशन। हमने एक मूवी देखी होगी रोबोट्स रजनीकांत की, व्हाट हैपेंड इन दैट we have seen that is a sci-fi movie, but that's not a sci-fi, that will become the actual happening, and this is means it. Next is now about social media पे जो reels हैं, they are basically making the person dumb, and they are making in the psychological cutoff of the society. And अभी तक जो आपका जो डाटा आया है, जो सुसाइडल केसेस हुए हैं, they have very एक common factor आया है, they have very less real life friends. They have either there may be thousands of the followers or the friends on the Facebook or other social media, but they have the only few person for that. आपने फ्रेंड के साथ एक बात शेयर की, उसने वो लीक कर देगा, डिस्क्लोज करेगा, कितनों के साथ डिस्क्लोज करेगा, 2 के साथ, 5 के साथ, 10 के साथ। अगर आपने फेसबुक के साथ अपनी कोई पर्सनल सीक्रेट शेयर कर लिया तो फेसबुक कितनों के साथ वो वैल्यू शेयर कर सकता है? थिंक अबाउट दैट। अगर मीन्स के पर्सन ने कहा कि आप मेरे को ना मीन्स के आप मेरे लिए आप मेरे को पार्टी दो, नहीं तो मैं आपका ये सीक्रेट लीक कर दूंगा। फेसबुक ने आपसे अगर पैसा मांगना स्टार्ट कर दिया तो क्या करेंगे? तो मीन्स के दिस इज हैपनिंग नाउअडेज कि मीन्स के आपका एक पीछे एक केस स्टडी भी आई थी, तो वर्चुअल रियल सिस्टम में एक आपने किसी एम्प्लॉइज के साथ इंटरेक्शन हो गया एंड दैट हैज ब्लैकमेल दैट, और उसका उसके बाद में वो एक बड़ी कमेटी से बन के रहा था, उसने सिस्टम जनरेटेड मेल कर दी कि उसको आप फायर कर दो, क्योंकि वो उसके दैट चीज कि वो लेडी है उस पर्सन के साथ इंटरेक्टेड थी, एंड देन सर्वे किया कि उन्हें कितने जनरेट की, कैसे की, किसके ऑर्डर से, देन तो दिस इज हैपनिंग। और एंड देन एक आपका यूएस यूके का 23-24 का केस है, आप यू कैन सर्च ऑन द गूगल आल्सो। एक 15-16 year लड़की that had filed that had lodged FIR against the AI based virtual जो आपका अवतार है, क्या आपकी वो न्यूज, क्या आपकी FIR that AI अवतार है रेप था, और उसको जो साइकोलॉजिकल जब उसका मेडिकल किया गया है उस बच्ची का, either that is not physically done, but that is the more psychological in trauma than the real life such cases. So this is again happening with the AI system, emotional connection. Automation, we have other self-driving car, टेस्ला के हम कार देखते हैं, गूगल कार देखते हैं, अभी तक कितनी रियल लाइफ सक्सेसफुल है, और इंडिया जैसे ड्राइविंग सिनेरियो में कितनी सक्सेसफुल है, और खासकर हम हरियाणा में देखते तो एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, अपनी गाड़ी का नुकसान बाद में करेगा, फिर दूसरे के ड्राइवर को पिटाई करेगा। अब ड्राइवरलेस कार में किसकी पिटाई करेगा? एंड देन दिस इज हैपनिंग कि मींस के वहां पे अगर आपका ड्राइविंग लेस कार अगर आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल हो जाए तो वो कितना डैमेज कर सकती है, या अगर आपका ट्रक ड्राइवर है वो एआई कंट्रोल्ड है तो वो आपके कंट्रोल से बाहर चला गया, कितना दोष कर सकता है? then we can't think about that. रोबोट्स राइट्स, अभी सर ने बात की कि ह्यूमंस की तरह सोचते हैं, करते हैं, काम करते हैं, तो उनके भी राइट होने चाहिए, तो देन मशीन के राइट होंगे, ह्यूमन के राइट होंगे। इट इज अगेन द मिस्टेक इंटरनेशनली जो आपका एआई है, दिस इज वन ऑफ द इश्यूज। Then one thing then with the aging minds, AI is thinking differently and human is thinking differently. तो AI का जो माइंड है वो आपका completely easily not understandable है, and that makes it. This is the need of the time. Self-consciousness, and this is consciousness is the thing of the need in the AI system. वो आपका सेल्फ अवेयर हो, गलती हो जाए तो कैसे उसको रेक्टिफाई करें, कैसे आपका इमोशन को कैसे इंडिपेंडेंस सोचे. So this is mistake self-conscious is the future possibility. और अब सुपर इंटेलिजेंस AI हमने आज देख लिया. अगर आपको ध्यान हो, सबसे पहले रोबोट कहाँ बने थे? जापान. आज जापान AI कहाँ है और क्यों है? कभी सोचा है? जापान को जब से हम इसके स्टडी करते आए हैं, इवन दैट आर लिविंग इन द टेक्नोलॉजी, TV, car, everything, even in the robotics. Then why not in AI? There is some one mistake is done by the AI. There is some social culture. Social culture is that Japanese is a completely closed society. India is a open society नहीं है. आपके US या यूरोप की तरह open society नहीं है. अब आप यूएस में या किसी भी फॉरेन कंट्री में जाओगे तो आप अपने मुख्य दोस्त से बात कर लोगे. और इंडिया में तो आप बस में ट्रेन में कहीं भी जा रहे हो, कभी किसी से भी बात कर लोगे. Japanese they are the very reserved society, and they have made there the AI research completely reserved. अभी पिछले 3 साल पहले ही उन्होंने ओपन मार्केट में आए. 3 साल पहले ही उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल कोलैबोरेशंस किए हैं अपने साथ. अदरवाइज उससे पहले देश में कंप्लीटली आइसोलेशन में काम करते हैं. दिस इज अ मेजर ड्रॉबैक दैट कि उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल जो वो है आपका टेलेंट को अपने एआई सिस्टम और उसकी वजह से बेसिस स्किल्स नहीं. तो यहाँ पे अब सुपर इंटेलिजेंस में आदमी से ज़्यादा रोबोट, आदमी कितना वेट उठा देगा? 100 किलो 200 किलो. रोबोट कितना उठा देगा? कोई लिमिट है? आदमी दीवार को पंच नहीं कर सकता, दीवार को पंच करके रोबोट पंच करके निकल जाएगा. तो इसकी थिंकिंग कैपेबिलिटी दैट विल गोज बियॉन्ड ह्यूमन, एंड दैट इज अ बेसिकली सुपर इंटेलिजेंस. और सुपर इंटेलिजेंस थिंग अगर आपसे आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल हो जाए तो कैन यू कंट्रोल दैट? अगेन द वन ऑफ द एथिकल इशू कि सुपर इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए. सुपर इंटेलिजेंस पावरफुल है लेकिन साथ में कितना है? रिस्क भी है. देन रिस्पांसिबल एआई में सिस्टम में गड़बड़ कर दी, कौन रिस्पांसिबल होगा? डेवलपर, कंपनी, यूजर. टिल डेट no international or the Indian mechanism to identify the responsibility. अभी तक थ्रो कर रहे हैं कि कुछ केसेस हुए भी हैं, कुछ केस स्टडी भी हैं. तो गलती से कुछ हुआ है या इंटेंशनली किया है. पहला एक लाइन ऑफ डिफरेंस की गलती से हुआ है या इंटेंशनली किया है, यही नहीं जज हो पाता. उसके बाद ये भी जज हो गया तो गलती से नहीं हुआ तो किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? तो दिस इज अगेन द टिल डेट गवर्नमेंट का मेजर इशू है. तो यहाँ पे आपका फेयरनेस नहीं है, ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, तो लीगल लॉज भी नहीं है. और इसके लिए एक चीज चाहिए हमें, डाटा एक्टिविज्म. आपका फोन कहाँ कहाँ गया हुआ है क्या आपको पता है? कम से कम इंडिया में तो नहीं पता. हम अपना नंबर किसी को भी किसी भी सॉफ्टवेयर के पास से सोचते नहीं हैं. हमें अपने सोशल मीडिया पे ओपन एक्सेस में हमारी बहुत सी इंफॉर्मेशन का जो नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर आप किसी फोन के बीच या अगर किसी को सोशल मीडिया के अकाउंट देखोगे तो दे हैव वन बिजनेस अकाउंट एंड वन पर्सनल अकाउंट, और जो पर्सनल अकाउंट था उसमें कितने लोग होंगे उनसे बहुत लिमिटेड। हमारे यहाँ तो पर्सनल और प्रोफेशनल और सारा एक ही अकाउंट है, और दैट इज ओपन टू एवरीबॉडी। कोई भी उसमें देख सकता है, कोई भी कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन, कोई भी फोटो डाउनलोड कर ली, कोई भी कुछ कर लिया, दैट कैन बी डू एवरीथिंग ऑन दैट डे। So there is the need of the this is the need of the time। हमें अपने डाटा की, अपने इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए अवेयर होना चाहिए, अपनी प्राइवेसी के लिए, एंड दैट विल बी लीड टू a completely dangerous scenario in near future। तो अभी उसके लिए आपका आ रहा है, और अभी हम कहते हैं कि आधार कार्ड तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज है। हमने पिछले साल अप्रैल में क्या खरीदा था, कौन सी दुकान से खरीदा था, ये इंफॉर्मेशन भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया उसके इजराइल के पास अवेलेबल है। किसके हमारे रिलेटिव ने क्या खरीदा था, रिलेटिव का किसके साथ ब्रेकअप हुआ है, एवरीथिंग इज कंप्लीटली नोन दैट इजराइल के पास, यूएसए के पास, फेसबुक के पास, आपके इवन हमने जितना भी यूपीआई इंफॉर्मेशन है, चाइना हैज अ कंप्लीटली रिपोर्ट ऑफ द ईच एंड। हमने अगर मिस्टर रिक्शा वाले को 10 रुपये भी यूपीआई से किए हैं ना, तो उसे भी पता है इस आदमी ने, इस रिक्शा वाले को पिछले 3 साल में 4 बार उस रिक्शा वाले को यूज किया है, उसको पेमेंट की है। तो वो जो डाटा की जो हमारी जो प्राइवेसी है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के पास कहते हैं कि हम चाइनीज प्रोडक्ट ना लें, हम उनके सर्विसेज ना लें, गवर्नमेंट उनके सर्विस को ना यूज करें, बट दिस इज मेन थिंग व्हिच कैन बी प्रोटेक्ट एट आवर अवेयरनेस और द, so that is a data activation। So this is our brief about that, कि हम लोग अपने लिए अवेयर रहें, और हमारी अवेयरनेस ही हमें से AI की खतरों से बचा सकती है। कंपनी और टेक्नोलॉजी इज मेकिंग गोइंग डाउन one level higher and higher, and so that is beyond our control, but we have to save ourselves। और मैं कई बार बच्चों से एक बात करता हूँ, सोशल मीडिया हम यूज करते हैं एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए यूज करते हैं ना, या कुछ और पर्पज है, और एंटरटेनमेंट के बाद हमें कैसा फील होना चाहिए, हैप्पी, रिफ्रेशिंग। 3 घंटे फेसबुक यूज करके, इंस्टाग्राम यूज करके मेरे को उसके बाद वो छोड़ के अपना बच्चे को 10 मिनट बाद पूछा क्या वो हैप्पी है? इज एनीबॉडी कि फेसबुक या सोशल मीडिया को रख के उसके बाद कहा चाहे अभी शर्तों में से भी बड़े हैं। हमने एक मूवी देख ली, तो एक मूवी को देख के हम 1 हफ्ता से हैप्पी रहते थे। हम एक्सरसाइज करने जिम में गए या ग्राउंड में गए, खेल के आने के बाद हम अपना अगले दिन तक उसके जिसके स्वेटिंग के बाद अपना माइंड रिफ्रेशिंग करते हैं। लेकिन क्या हम अपना ये AI का जो डिवाइस है, जो AI की एप्लीकेशन है, उसको यूज करके कभी हैप्पी फील करते हैं? दिस इज द रीजन कि हम यूज करें, प्रॉपरली यूज करें। तो कुल मिला के मैं पहली बात कहूँगा, वी हैव टू यूज AI and not allow AI to use us। This is my final thing। Thank you।
Thank you, sir. So wise words will remain with us as a source of guidance, and surely we will try our best to be more considerate, conscious, and self-aware while using AI in future. It is now time to express our profound appreciation and heartfelt thanks to our esteemed guests for gracing this occasion with their distinguished presence. I respectfully invite Uday Sharma sir to kindly felicitate our eminent dignitaries with mementos as a token of our sincere regard and gratitude. Sir, can we please have your participation? I now request Professor Dr. Nasib Singh Gill sir to grace the stage and accept our token of gratitude.
खत्म कर दे खत्म कर दे
Can we have a round of applause? Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Dr. Yudhvir, sir, to kindly come and accept our sincere regards. Thank you, sir. We remain deeply indebted to our distinguished esteemed guests for their gracious presence, invaluable guidance, and inspiring contributions to this conference. Let us once again acknowledge them with a warm and respectful round of applause. I request you, sir, to please come on the stage. Will sir please and all the faculty members for a group photograph.
कर दूँ और हाँ निकाल दिया ब्रावो 6 में निकाल वो कितना क्या है ब्रावो 6 में निकाल कौन सा वाला इस पे सर्च करो एक मिनट फाइव पीछे जाना पड़ेगा पीछे आओ ना क्या हो जाओ ना
With successful completion of the inaugural session, we express our heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers for their invaluable insight. We will now break for short lunch. Delegates are kindly requested to proceed to the ballroom. Post lunch, the conference will reconvene at 1:45 p.m. in the seminar hall itself for the technical session, where scholars and researchers will present their papers on emerging trends and movements. Students and faculty members are requested